Beauty. A year ago, Lucy's parents had lived in a big house with a large garden and even a little stable block. Lucy had owned a pony called Lucky. She looked after him every day, feeding him and mucking out the stables. And at the weekends, Lucy had riding lessons. She loved horse riding and was good at it too. Lucy and Lucky made a champion team. They started to enter some competitions, local gymkhanas, and then a few jumping shows. They won lots of rosettes, which Lucy pinned to her bedroom wall. But then Lucy's dad lost his job and her parents found they had very little money. They couldn't afford to stay in their big house, so they sold the house and sold their car and moved somewhere smaller in another village. The worst thing was that they would have to sell Lucky. Lucy's parents explained to her that they couldn't afford to rent stables or pay vet's bills or even pay for riding lessons anymore. Lucy was very upset. Lucky's new owners lived a long way away, so she couldn't even visit him. Lucy missed her old home and she missed her pony, but she knew better than to complain. Her parents were still struggling for money and life wasn't easy for any of them. Lucy decided to get a job. There was a riding stable along the lane from her new house. Maybe they would have some work for her. Lucy walked into the yard and asked to speak to the yard manager. A tall woman came out in red Wellington boots and a dark quilted jacket. She looked rather strict, but she had a friendly smile. "My name's Susan," she said. "Can I help you?" "I'd like a job," said Lucy. "I'm good with horses and I'm a hard worker. I can do any work you give me. I just need a job." Susan looked Lucy up and down. "All right," she said. "As it happens, we could use an extra pair of hands around here. Can you come along for a couple of hours every day?" Lucy said she could do whatever hours they needed her for, and she started work straight away. As promised, Lucy made herself useful. She mucked out the stables and swept the yard. She filled the water troughs in the field and put hay in all of the stalls. She gave the horses their food and brushed their coats until they shone. It was a busy little yard where lots of the locals kept their horses. There were horses and ponies of every size and colour, but Lucy's favourite was a lovely black horse called Black Beauty. He was very handsome, with a white stripe down his nose and a beautiful glossy coat. Black Beauty's owner was a friendly girl called Sarah. She was a very good rider, and Beauty was an excellent jumper. Sarah was planning to enter the local jumping competition that summer, and everyone was sure she would win it. Sarah rode Beauty every day to keep him strong and fit for the competition. Lucy watched with envy as Sarah and Beauty went around the riding school, sailing over the practice jumps. But it was hard to be really jealous when Sarah was so friendly. She was always nice to Lucy and even let her ride Black Beauty from time to time. But one day, Sarah didn't turn up at the stables. Beauty was waiting for her at his stable door. "Where's Sarah?" asked Lucy, stroking Beauty on the nose. "Sarah's very ill," said Susan. "She won't be back here until she's completely better, and that could be weeks away." "Poor Sarah," said Lucy. "I'll bet she'll really miss Black Beauty." "Of course she will," said Susan. "That's why she's asked that only the very best person should look after him while she's gone. She asked if you would look after him for her and keep training him for the competition. Black Beauty's never been in such good shape, and we all know you're a good rider. Would you like to ride Black Beauty for a few weeks?" "Of course I would," cried Lucy, with a great big smile on her face. Lucy was very excited. She started to ride Black Beauty every day. He was bigger and faster than Lucky had been, but they all worked well together. Soon they started going over jumps. Weeks went by, but Sarah didn't get any better. At last, the week of the competition arrived, and Sarah finally came back to the stables. She was very pale and weak, but she patted Black Beauty and chatted with Lucy. "There's something I want to ask you," she said to Lucy. "I won't be well enough to ride again for a while now, but I think that you and Beauty should enter the competition together. You've been working so hard to train for it." "Are you sure?" said Lucy. "I know how much it means to you." "Of course," said Sarah. "Black Beauty deserves to have some fun, and so do you." On the day of the competition, Susan helped Lucy to prepare Black Beauty. She plaited his tail and combed out his long mane. Lucy pulled on her jodhpurs, a white blouse, and her riding hat. She was very nervous. There was a big crowd, and some of the other riders were much older than her, but she knew she'd be all right as long as Black Beauty was with her. Sarah was watching in the crowd, and they both wanted to make her proud. "Come on, Beauty," whispered Lucy. "If we just do our best, we'll be okay." There were lots of riders in the jumping competition. They all went round the little course, soaring over the brightly coloured jumps. Some of them knocked down the jumps and lost points, and one naughty pony refused to go over any jumps at all. When it was Lucy's turn, Black Beauty behaved wonderfully. He cleared every jump and really impressed the judges. Lucy and Beauty enjoyed every second of the competition, and Lucy couldn't believe it when she was given a big red rosette. They had won first place. Lucy dismounted and gave Beauty a big hug. "You see," Lucy whispered to him, "we're a champion team, but there's someone I have to see." Lucy went into the crowd to look for Sarah. She was sitting with her parents, looking pale and tired, but with a big grin on her face. Next to her were Lucy's parents, who were both smiling proudly. "This is yours," said Lucy, handing the rosette to Sarah. "Thank you for letting me ride Black Beauty today." "No, thank you," said Sarah. "Thank you for looking after him. Look how much fun he had today." Sarah's parents thanked Lucy too. "And we have some good news at last," said Lucy's dad. "Sarah's father has offered me a job. I start next week." "That's amazing," said Lucy. She hugged her parents and hugged Sarah and felt very, very happy. Their lives had changed, but things were going to be okay. Lucy had her family and her newfound friends, horses and girls alike, and together they all made a champion team. The end.